Hi. Good morning, good morning. Welcome one, welcome all. It's so nice to hear the gentle sound of humanity. I know we're officially out of the COVID chapter, sort of, kind of, maybe, whatever. It still feels new. You know, we come to work here and stuff, but it's just fun to hear people talking because that's what an MBA program sounds like. So welcome. My name is Dylan Stafford. I am an assistant dean here at UCLA. I'll be your host for the next hour and a half. I'm going to speak for about 45 minutes, and then we have a great student panel, and we'll have time for Q&A. At 11 o'clock, we'll have two options. You're welcome to have one-on-one Q&A with myself and the panelists. Also, my boss, the Associate Dean, Gonzalo Freixas, will be leading a nice campus tour. So, so we got 90 minutes of great content, and we're really thrilled that you're here today. So let's just jump in. We're glad you're here. We're glad you're here at UCLA Anderson, and we are glad you're here in our facility. So where you are, you're right here in the little curvy one at the bottom. That's the roof of this Korn Convocation Hall, named after Lester Korn, an alum, a former ambassador, the founder of Korn Ferry. And then to the right, the big tower you see, that's our brand new Marian Anderson Hall. So John Anderson gave $15 million back in like 1985 to put his name on the building. Total bargain. It costs way more to put your name on a business school these days. And our prior dean, Judy Olean, was our dean for 13 years, and she was great friends with John Anderson's widow, Marian Anderson, and Miss Anderson gave us $100 million. So, you see who wear the pants in that family, which is really kind of amazing if you think about it. She could have given that to Cedars-Sinai or St. John. I mean, there are many things you can do with $100 million to put your name somewhere else, and she chose to double down on Anderson, which was a beautiful, generous gift. About half of it went to programming, and about half of it went to build this new $80 million tower, which is now where all the student-facing staff are housed, so career services, student affairs, financial aid, we're all in that building, everyone who has direct contact with the student body, and it gave us 4 more classrooms, so it's really state-of-the-art. So we are just thrilled you're here today. So welcome to UCLA Anderson. We're talking about your future today. That's our business. We're in the future business. And if you choose to come here, we'll get to take a picture like this during your orientation week, rah-rah, launching my graduate school journey. So we love this room. This is Korn Convocation Hall, as I said. When you look at the left, these are the flags of origin of our current student body. So if you look up there and you see, well, wait a minute, my family's country of origin isn't up there, well, get yourself admitted and we will fix that. We adjust the flags every year. So why do you want an MBA? Quick audience participation. I can talk a lot. So we put labels on people's career aspirations to kind of help guide people. And some of these may fit, some of these may not. But typically when people are like, I think I want a graduate degree in business, in management, we use these descriptors. I want to enhance. Like I'm at Boeing, I'm doing well. I want to raise my trajectory. So I want to enhance. Or I want to switch. I've been doing this thing for 4 or 5 years. It's okay, but it's not what I want to do long time. Or I don't know. I want to explore. And I feel like I'm capable of more, but I don't exactly know where I fit. Okay, so those are 3 categories: enhance, switch, explore. And then we have, sorry, the sound is weird under this. And then we have kind of the entrepreneurs who, maybe not right now, but at some point I want to have my own show. Or we have people who know they're going to run a family business someday. Like, they're going to give it to me, and they're going to expect me to run it. Ugh, right? So an MBA will help get you ready for any and all of those. So let me see a hand of an enhancer. Who's an enhancer? Okay, you in the gray sweater. Tell me your name and where you work and what you're thinking about.
My name is Alexis. I work at Intuit. I'm a technical program manager, so a big part of my role is to work cross-functionally, so looking to become a stronger strategic leader.
Excellent. Beautiful example. Oh my God. All right, just put that in your essay. You're going to do great. Okay. Yeah. This is me. I'm already there. I've got functional expertise, but now it's like cross-functional is what's next. So how do I prepare myself to be effective outside of my discipline so far? So I want to enhance, but I like Intuit. I like this. I worked hard to get here. I don't want to leave all this. Perfect. Okay. An example of a switcher. Now, this is being recorded, so you can use an anonymous name. Yes, tell me. My name is John.
I think just having the optionality where it's like kind of split between the enhancing and switching, just knowing that you can have the optionality to switch.
Beautiful. Yeah, I've never done this out loud. I never want to give the same speech twice, so I wing it. And now I'm like, you're going to put this on there? Yeah, I hate my job. And all of a sudden that's on the internet. Yeah, so but that's a beautiful word, optionality, right? Like maybe I switch, maybe, and that would even, we'll just fast forward. That's the explorer category. Like I'm not sure, right? In an MBA, the faculty that you meet, the classmates that you meet, the courses that you take, the extracurricular experiences, all of that is just exposing you to options and options and options that I just didn't even know this was a thing. Okay, great. And how about entrepreneurs or family business people? Yes?
Yeah, so just not now, but in the near future, I do have some ideas and some partners.
Mm-hmm.
We may decide to start our own effort there.
Yeah.
I don't know how much more.
Well, that's good. Yeah. Now I've got some IP and I don't want to give it away. That's perfect. Yes. And sometimes now or in the near future, entrepreneurship is in the water at Anderson. I've written 2 books since I got here. I helped my wife launch her company. You may be sitting there going, entrepreneur, risk? No, no, no. I just want a good job with security. But if you hang out here, you will start thinking, We've converted the entire basement of the library into a 50,000 square foot venture accelerator that's a hub for startup UCLA across campus. We have one of our field studies is called the Business Creation Program, where you actually gather classmates and you create a company. And about half of our companies go to funding. So, guard your IP, let it keep, it's like a little baby bird in the nest, let it keep growing feathers, but when you're ready to have it fly, we can partner with you on that. And then family business, anybody family business now or family business in the future? Like to start one, okay. Okay, all right. Great, all right, we can help you do that, and yes.
Parents own a large manufacturing for jewelry in downtown LA. They're obviously not going to just hand the business to me, so I think an MBA will allow me to develop those business principles and take over the company.
Yeah, and getting ready for that and establishing credibility. Like you're going to get 2 letters of recommendation. And those of you with family businesses, sometimes the toughest recommender letters you get are from like mom. Well, he's pretty good, but let me tell you what he really needs to work on. So how do I establish credibility with my parents, with my grandparents, aunts and uncles, with, family business dynamics are a whole other level of complicated, right? Well, here's how I can tell you that I'm serious about this. And oh, by the way, I could hire a great crew with me because I have all these new high caliber classmates. So, building for the long term, short, medium, and long. And I love entrepreneurship and family businesses because those are very often longer term plays. And this whole thing, this is a long term play. This is a 6-figure investment in your future. This degree costs about $135,000, which is not nothing, right? Everyone can afford it because everyone can get loans. So if you're sitting there going, I can't afford that, you actually can, because the world is full of people who will happily lend you money to pay for this. But then you got to pay that money back. That's kind of how that game goes. So you want to amortize it over 10 years, 20 years, something like that, hopefully shorter. A lot of people, their ROI comes a lot quicker than 10 years. And I'll show you salary stats in a minute. Okay, so this is me. I've been here 20 years. I'm an assistant dean. I'm from Texas originally, so you hear a twang sometimes. I have a podcast called Drive Time. We have about 80, 90 episodes. They're hard to find because I'm not very organized, but they exist. I'll give you some links. I've written a couple books. I said I teach Stand and Deliver. I teach a business communication class during orientation. I talk to about 1,000 people a year. For 20 years, I've talked to a lot of people, so I'm going to try to give you my greatest hits today. Here we go. So maybe 20 minutes on why UCLA, 15 on FEMBA, 10 on how to get admitted. Then I've got a great panel. I'll show you their photos in a minute, and I apologize in advance. Please don't get mad, but they're 3 Caucasian-looking male-type people. Now, you never know, because maybe that's just how they present, and that's not who they identify as, but we tried to get some women, and it didn't work out. But they're awesome. So listen beyond superficial stuff. Listen for their journey. That's the point, okay? And I really do. I mean, we really tried, but everybody's busy today. And they are going to tell you what it's like from their point of view. And again, they'll stay around for some one-on-one Q&A afterwards. And if you want to hear stories of successful women, please, I've got so many on the drive time. And then we'll do Q&A at the end, and both open Q&A and then also one-on-one Q&A. And we'll be here, or I'll be here till we get all your questions answered. This is my team. We have one open position, so there'll be another person, but Christy, Vartan, Chris, Cynthia, and Raymond, these are the FEMBA admissions officers you will meet as you go through the journey. This is today's panel, Alex, Clay, and Elias. Clay's already in the back. And whoop! And they're going to give you some perspective, like what's it like in the trenches? How does work-life balance go? How do you, pick your classes? What was it like when I was like, should I go here? Should I go to another school? Did I think about part-time versus executive versus full-time? All right, so we really appreciate their time in advance. So let's go into why UCLA. So why UCLA? It's a really important global brand, UCLA. It's one of the most recognized university names anywhere. So if you'd like to put something on your resume that you don't have to say, now tell me again, where is that college? Right? If you would like to not have to do that, UCLA is a very safe bet, okay? And UCLA plus U equals, because we're in the plus times now, equals U plus, right? That's my argument, okay? So talk me out of that argument. This is the #1 public research university in the world for not one, not two, but for the last 6 years running, according to U.S. News and World Report, okay? 22 back to 2017. We're the #1 public university for veterans. We are the #1 university, public or private, for social mobility. I hope you like this because you paid for it, right? This is taxpayer-funded reality here. We are a public university, not funded as much as it used to be. But back in the 60s, when they came up with the Grand Master Plan of Education, we had the UC system, the Cal State system, the community college system, all designed to do one thing, to build Californians for the future. No matter what your starting point, we have ladders of access. Wherever you are, your socioeconomic starting point, you have no control over that. But we want to have a system in California to bring people into the future. And the UC is one of the 3 parts of that. And UCLA is one of the crown jewels in that. So #1 university, public or private, for social mobility. I didn't grow up rich. I grew up in East Texas, in a small town with used cars. My dad was an assistant minister. My mom was a school teacher. My dad went to get a PhD for a decade. We lived on my mom's teacher salary, right? Now I live in California. I'm all shiny, It's neat. It's America. Stuff happens if you work hard, right? Now I ride a bicycle to work to save money, but that's okay. UCLA, the most applied to university in the U.S. We had 149,000 applications last year for seats in the freshman class. How many of you went here undergrad? Where's my Bruins? Woo, woo, there we go, there we go. She's waving his hand for him. Come on, you got it, you got it. Welcome back, welcome back. How many, and we'll just be, we'll be inclusive. Where's my Trojans from across town? All right, fight on, yeah, there we go. See, now you can have 2 networks. That's very smart. See, now you can go to both alumni events, so there's something good about that. So, and we'll go up north. Where's our Cal Bears? All right. Okay, so those are usually the big 3. It's always UCLA and then #1 and then USC and Berkeley second or third in terms of most represented. But in any average class, we'll have 150 to 200 different undergraduate programs. So you get to meet people from all over when you're here. So you get to be part of that. UCLA is the 5th largest alumni network, all of UCLA, over 540,000 alumni in America, around the world, 41,000 of whom are graduates of Anderson, 10,000 of whom are living here in LA County, 2,000 in Orange County, 2,000 in San Diego, 2,000 up in the Bay Area. So if you like California and you want to stay here, this is an incredible network to tap into. If you think you might want to leave California and you want a degree that'll travel with you, we help you there also. So we've made history for 104 years in society, research, and athletics. I just want to give you a couple of shiny points. These are pride points that make it fun to be part of this brand. This one, I've never seen this picture until this week. It came out in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Here's MLK speaking here at, where you just walked across Wilson Plaza. From when you came out of the parking garage, you were parking underneath Wilson Plaza. So there's Dr. Martin Luther King, and I love this quote. This is him speaking about why we're all here today. We must remember that intelligence is not enough. Intelligence plus character. That is the goal of true education. The complete education gives one not only power of concentration, but worthy objectives upon which to concentrate. The broad education will, therefore, transmit to one not only the accumulated knowledge of the race, but also the accumulated experience of social living. I love working here because you get little pings like this all the time. Did you know UCLA, da, 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 da? So let me give you some more. Our fifth valedictorian. So again, I said I'm from East Texas, right? I grew up in a black-white universe. Back in the 70s and 80s when I was a kid, no one was Hispanic. That would have been like really exotic. I think there was possibly one Jewish family in the town, maybe one Asian family in the town. I grew up in a very small world. And now I get to work in a world where we have 30 countries of nationality in every entering class. I mean, my world went from small to just amazing. So back in the 20s, UCLA started in 1919. The fifth valedictorian was Ralph Bunche, an African-American gentleman who went on to become the first African-American to earn a doctorate from any American university, went on to become the first person of color to win the Nobel Peace Prize in 1950. We have the Bunche Hall in our African-American studies all associated with his name. Jackie Robinson, this one more people know about, of course, the first person to letter in 4 sports at UCLA, 24 years before the Civil Rights Act, right? Broke the color barrier in Major League Baseball. If you don't know American history or American sports, but you kind of get a sense, some people just don't follow sports, right? But you know that the NFL is really popular, you know basketball is really popular. Take the popularity of basketball and football and put them together. That's how popular baseball was. Before football, before basketball, baseball was the sport, and it was totally segregated. A white person could not play with black athletes, a black person could not play with white athletes, and the first person to break that color barrier was a graduate of UCLA. Tom Bradley, the first African mayor of Los Angeles, served for 20 years, is a Bruin. Ava DuVernay, more recent example, 95 graduate, probably going to be winning an Oscar someday. She's on her way. So that's some impacts we've had in society. Here are a couple in research. The internet, that thing that got us through COVID, Zoom, right? But we had to have it. And where did it start? Right here. The very first ping of the internet left UCLA and went to Stanford on October 29th, 1969. And what was the first internet message? Any history buffs here? It was low. Pretty impressive, huh? It was supposed to be login, and it crashed after O. So when he told the story later, Dr. Kleinrock said, low, as in lo and behold, like we planned it that way. We didn't plan it, but we could not have come up with a better message, short and prophetic, right? So our current dean, Dean Bernardo, likes to say within 1 square mile, right? Within 1 square mile of where you're sitting right now, the future is happening already. The future is being made, and you get to be a part of that if you come to UCLA. Here's one more, Dr. Paul Terasaki, Japanese American heritage. His family was put in a camp during World War II, and you would think that's pretty embittering. I don't think I'm going to like my country after they do that to me and my family. He came out, he didn't get bitter. He got educated, got 3 degrees from UCLA, created 1 Lambda, and along the way, his science led to us being able to take an organ out of my body and place it into your body, and your body receive it, right? That's a game changer for any of those who have loved ones who've ever received an organ transplant from UCLA. And then lastly, more recent example, Dr. Andrea Getz became the 21st woman to win the Nobel Prize, and she won that in the fall of 2020. And then a couple of athletics examples. We have several gold medalists who've sat where you sit. You can hear podcasts of them. Ed Moses is a 2016 FEMBA grad, won gold and silver in swimming in the Sydney Olympics right before the Michael Phelps era. Susan Francia is a 2-time Olympic gold medalist. She's a 2018 graduate. She's so funny. And we have a really great interview that she drove up from San Diego. It was like 3 weeks before COVID, and we recorded it in my office. And it was like a week after Kobe Bryant was lost. And she went to Penn undergrad, and then she met Kobe at the Olympics, and they became friends. He became actually like a mentor to her. It's a totally amazing story. And it still gives me chills. And then she is an American dream story. Her mother is a scientist who fled Hungary. And she tells the story of how they took their life savings and sewed them into her teddy bear when they were on the plane and came to America. It's just amazing. And that's the kind of thing that you get to be part of for the rest of your life if you choose to come to UCLA. Couple more, Derek Cox just graduated in class of 2021. 7 seasons as a professional football player, now has used his MBA to reinvent himself as a sports agent. Only person, I think the only person, he's intercepted both Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Very few people can say they did that. And then our main athletic example is Coach John Wooden. If you don't know him, shame on me, I'd never heard of the man. Super famous, just an incredible coach, won the NCAA tournament 10 times, but after he retired, he made his biggest difference because he has an entire legacy of like how to inspire people, how to work with people, how to get the best out of yourself and those around you. Takes 10 hands to score a basket, all these wonderful things. Make today your masterpiece. He is a legend well beyond UCLA, and he gets to be part of your sense of yourself. Oh, one more. We're hosting the Olympics in 2028. I think everybody knows that. We can't talk about it until we get to Paris because we don't want to steal their thunder. So Paris in 24, and then the real Olympics is in 28. And it's going to be here in Los Angeles. That's what the big people mover is at LAX. And all the athletes are going to live right here on campus. Yeah, oh, it's going to be something. So, it's going to be amazing, right? The entire world will be looking at UCLA that summer, looking at Los Angeles, looking at UCLA. So, I'm from East Texas. I think it's so amazing to be a part of this, to get to raise I have 2 children, raising them in Culver City. They get to be global citizens going into the future, right? This is a place where you can either double down on being connected to all things California, or you can launch yourself around the world. And the UCLA brand will help you do either. So the point, we made history for our first 104 years. You can trust us to make history for the next 104 years, okay? U plus UCLA equals U plus. All right, so now we're going to do a little more audience participation so I don't talk you to death. You get to say, you practice in your head, I'm a grad student. So it was fun being a student, right? Everybody lowers their expectations of you. You get free passes at the movies, right? Like there's something fun about being a student, right? Then you get to say, I'm a grad student at UCLA. That's even better. So let's do it. This is even deeper. I'm getting my MBA at UCLA. So let's just turn to your neighbor and just say, hey, I'm getting my MBA at UCLA. Practice that. Yeah, how about that? Right? Yeah, how about that? That's a little conversation starter. Oh, yeah. Stand up, pull your shoulders back, feel a little bit taller. All right? So how's that sound? It sounds great. So that was a little bit about why UCLA. Now, the reason we're here today is an MBA while I keep my job. We call it the fully employed MBA. So why would you want to do that? Because we will transform your career. We'll do a whole lot about your personal development. We will impact your sense of yourself, and that's all good. But this is designed to change your career, right? People come into this are already aiming high, and we want you to aim higher. And we want to help you aim at something bigger than what you know how to do on your own. Our entrepreneurship or the entrepreneurship or the family business. Like, oh, a jewelry business downtown LA. Ooh, that's a world. That's a world. Like, how do I show the world that I'm capable of that, right? Okay, we can help you get that. So this is a program for people whose job is too good to quit. A lot of people are like, well, should I go full-time or part-time? So let's look at that fork in the road. I did a full-time program at Chicago. That was my experience. It was great. It challenged me. It grew me. Wonderful. 100% of my classmates were unemployed, right? So think about when it's time to interview for internships or full-time jobs. Like everybody's your collaborator, but everybody's also a little bit your competition. And everybody had a job that was good, but not so good that they were willing to keep it. So if you got a job that you kind of like, meh, then maybe full-time is where you want to go. This program is designed for people who are typically 1 or 2 promotions too far gone to have the luxury of just being a full-time student anymore. Like, I mean, even if it's not your forever job, it's like, I worked hard to get here. I earned my seat on this team. I'm still learning. They're still investing in me. I'm still growing. I know I want the education. I know I want the experience. I know I want the network. I know I want the degree. I've just been busy for the last 5 years, and now I kind of look up and it's like, whoa, if I'm going to get that MBA, I want to get it sooner rather than later, right? But I don't want to give up my job. So that's what we're here for, okay? So it's a personal calculus. We can't make that decision for you. But you can ask yourself, do I like my job? Yes or no? If it's 51% yes, Do I like my boss? Does my boss believe in me? But does my boss give me challenging assignments? Does my boss know my name? Little things like that, right? Okay? Do I like real-time results? This program is for, implicit bias, explicit bias. We have a bias for action in this program. I want to hear it Saturday morning and use it Monday morning in the staff meeting. I loved my MBA at Chicago. It was amazing. There would be times in class where they'd say something really great, and you're like, that was so cool. I hope I remember it a year and a half from now when I have a real job. That's not how it is in FEMBA. That was amazing. I get to test it out on Monday. And if I'm going to come back the following Saturday, it's like, wait a minute, that didn't work great. Maybe I heard you wrong. Could you explain that again? Right? You get to talk to the faculty as you're learning it, but you're also practicing it. So if 2 or 3 of these are yes, that's what we're here for. The other end of the spectrum, some of you have been working maybe more than 10, 15 years. You might also want to look at our executive MBA program. Same thing, you keep your job, but it's even for people a stair step beyond. The main thing with our executive MBA program is you have actually already been managing people. You hire people, fire people, you have P&L authority, you run budgets, you make capital investment decisions. If your career is that far gone, you can also do our executive MBA program. And you'll be happy either way. No matter where you go here at Anderson, the same faculty teach you, you have the same core curriculum, and you put the same diploma on the wall. So it's really, everybody's aiming at being CEO of their own life, and I'm in my late 20s, I'm in my early 30s, I'm in my late 30s, even early 40s. We have stair steps along the way, and anyone can be in any program. It's your choice. Okay, so FEMBA is the same MBA, same faculty, same diploma, same campus, same clubs, and with FEMBA, you get to keep your job. So that's what we're talking about today. All right, so here comes our curriculum. Most flexible curriculum you can find anywhere. We like to say 9 quarters. You can do it in as short as 2 years, 2.5, or you can stretch it out to 3 years or even 4. Okay, so I'm going to show you blue classes and then yellow classes. So the blue classes, this is the first half of the curriculum is set. Okay, this is all on our website. It's hard to fit it on one slide, but I'll just give you the gist of it. So we have a 1-week kickoff, an incredible program called Foundations of Inclusive Leadership at the end of the summer, and then you take 2 classes per quarter. We're on the quarter system, 10 weeks of instruction, 11th week for finals. So you take data and decisions and organizational behavior. You take kind of a data technical, how to manage physical reality, statistics, and then you take shades of gray, complex, interpersonal organizational behavior class. So right out of the gate, we give you both sides of the coin. Some people can manage people and they can't manage things. Some people can manage things and they can't manage people. MBAs can manage both. And that's what makes them incredibly deadly effective in making the world go forward, because you can dance in both worlds right out of the gate. Winter, you take accounting and economics. Accounting, right? If you can't keep score, you can't win the game. So don't discount accounting. People are like, I don't like accounting. Accounting, when you can speak accounting, you can run the conversation for the rest of your career. Economics, big picture, no such thing as a free lunch. There's some basic concepts that make capitalism work. The reason that we all have iPhones in our pocket, you got to be able to speak those 2 languages. And then spring, finance and marketing, right? No organization, for-profit or nonprofit, works without understanding marketing. How do we put ourselves out there so that people choose us over alternatives? Marketing drives everything. You have the best thing in the world, but if you can't market it, too bad. Goes for your company, goes for yourself, and we'll help you with both of those. And then finance. Once you get some capital, how do you make your capital create more capital, right? That's finance, okay? And then coming into the fall, the second year, operations, right? Anybody heard the word supply chain in the last year or 2, right? Yes, it's behind everything that works and doesn't work. So what's that about? We have a top-tier faculty in operations and then strategy. Because what's going to happen in the second half of your career is you're going to make the decisions in the family business, when you set up your entrepreneurial thing, or when you're a big executive at a big company. What could we do? What should we do? What are the trade-offs of doing this versus that? So that's the core curriculum. So you do that your first year, once in your second year, and then you have a capstone experience. And we have the world's best capstones. Historically, our program is the Global Access Program, which is a 6-month, it's like an applied master's thesis. You're with a team, 4 other people. You're matched with an international high-tech, high-growth company, and you sign a non-disclosure, and they show you all their stuff. This is our whole world. And you get to write an investment quality business plan. You get to practice primary and secondary research. You learn all the tools you need to know such that you can test everything you've learned in your MBA so far with a real company and make a real investment quality business decision, a go, no-go type decision. And knowing that you can do that and practicing doing that, the final presentations, you actually meet with a group of investors who are, working with us in the program, and you make your pitch, and they actually tell you, yeah, right? Just like you would if you were pitching in the real world. I need 100, whatever. I need 1.5 million, can you win that argument, yes or no? So the Global Access Program is our historical. That's most FEMBAs have done that. We also have the business creation plan I spoke of earlier, which is if you want to start your own company. And now the school has a call for proposals for even new capstones. So you guys will be the beneficiaries of capstones that haven't even been invented yet. Because the faculty are really, we have a strategic plan I'm going to talk about in a minute. During COVID, we have been busy. The senior thought leaders of the school have done a soup to nuts strategic planning committee review. Where are we in the marketplace? What's our strength? Where do we want to grow? And one of the access points to taking UCLA Anderson, not just FEMBA, but Anderson to the next level, is a call for papers. So you're going to have some capstones that haven't even been invented yet in your choice group a year and a half from now. So this part of the curriculum is set. This is the core. So it's 11 out of 20 courses. Half the program is lockstep and set. All you do when you get admitted is you tell us, when do you want to come to class? So we have all day Saturday. That's what everybody here is doing today. Where you take a Saturday morning class and a Saturday afternoon class. So you would take 402, you take data and decisions in the morning, and then you take 409, organizational behavior in the afternoon, for instance. We also have a Tuesday night, Thursday night section, where you would take 402 on Tuesday night, and then you take 409 on Thursday night. That's great if you want to keep your weekends free. That's a good choice for people. And then we have our third schedule, which is our hybrid schedule, where half of the course is pre-recorded and you watch it asynchronously, and then you come to campus 3 weekends per quarter. So you have 3 different choices. So we have some out-of-state area folks, or San Diego and San Francisco, they like the hybrid option. But some people live in Santa Monica and do the hybrid option. Once you're admitted, you tell us which of the 3 schedules that you want. And that's the schedule you are in for the blue classes, okay? Now I'm going to show you the other half of the curriculum, which is the elective half. And what's great about the elective half is that now you can choose any schedule, and you have a wide range of choices to choose from, and you can specialize in areas of specific interest to you. So upon the foundation of the core classes, then you customize the second half. Okay, so there are 11 core courses, those are the blue, and there are 9 elective courses. And it gets super crazy. We have the most flexible curriculum of anyone, so it doesn't exactly fit on one slide, but just to kind of show you. So you can take 2 electives in the summer between year 1 and year 2. The little vertical there, that elective, that's what we call a block. So it's a 1 week. You take a week off work and get an entire class done. We have those here at Anderson. We also have those internationally around the world. I'll talk about those. Then you would come back winter and spring, take 2 more classes, and then you take 1 elective each in the summer of your second year and the fall. So 27 months, so 2.5 academic years, you can earn the degree. Okay, so that's kind of the basic model. You can do it faster, or you can stretch it out and do it longer. You get a great promotion at work, you want to take a leave of absence, you can do that. Family starts to grow, oh my gosh, we're pregnant, we didn't know this was going to happen right now. Okay, I need to take some time, right? It'll accordion. You can do it faster, iron person, get it done quick, or you can stretch it out, your choice. If you get through the first 3 quarters and you know what, I need a pause, you don't have to take electives that summer. So you could X those out and just take those electives in the winter of year 3, for instance. Or if you want to modify it a little more, I don't want to take a block elective, and I don't want to take that second elective that summer, take those electives in the spring. Historically, we were a 3 academic year program. People have been asking for more options, so we've really added a lot of summer electives, and that's made this 27-month earlier completion time available. Okay, so all of that, and then there's one more layer that's something we do better than anyone. We invented it here, and that is our global immersion program. So these little verticals in between the quarters, so spring break, summer break, fall break, winter break, in the second half of the program, if you'd like, there's usually 1, 2, or 3 choices every break to go with FEMBAs and executive MBAs and daytime students, everybody goes on the same trips to over 20 destinations around the world. We go to emerging markets. We go to non-English speaking. We don't go to London. We don't go to Australia. We go to places in the world where English is not the first language of business, where the action is happening, so to speak. You go with Anderson faculty. You earn a full 4-unit experience. You can take a significant other, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, or just thinking, I don't know, right? It's really cool, right? People kind of build that in, like you help me get through the first year, and then we'll go to Argentina in December between year 2 and 3, okay? And these are incredible feet on the ground, talking to business executives, talking to alumni from around the world, getting to see the faculty really bust out their Rolodex, their network, because they set up visits also. We started these in 2007 and 2008. They're wildly popular. You want to get out here with doing at least 1, maybe 2. I've had the honor to go to India and to China both. Just life-changing experiences to get to go like, wow. And I love this story. On the India trip, like 2/3 of the students were Indian. I was like, what the heck are you here for, right? I'm like, Dylan, let me tell you, I came to America like 10 years ago. I got a master's degree. I got this great job. I'm up in San Jose. I know I'm going to go back to India someday, but, I don't even recognize India when I come home. I only get to come home once a year, and when I come home, I'm kind of in the family bubble, and I don't even recognize my own country. And I was like, wow. Like you can use this to even learn about a place that you're from, because we all live in this world that's changing so quickly. And then going to China was just like, oh my gosh, like for me, East Texas again, I'm like, wow. So that's our curriculum. And then I want to just do 7 only brag points. None of those clocks exactly. This is what it's like here. You got one that says recording, so don't mess up. Then you got one that says 10:08. That one's accurate. And then you got the other one that's just kind of sitting there, telling you that it's 8:42 forever. Okay, we're doing great on time. So here are 7 only at UCLA FEMBAs. We're the #1 part-time program ever since they had rankings since 1996. We've never not been the #1 choice in SoCal. We have a career services team aimed directly, specifically, only at supporting the FEMBA students. 100% of the directors that you work with are certified executive coaches. No other school has that. We have the best salary increases. These are the class of 19, 20, and 21. I'll tell you more about that. Not only will your career get better 10 years from now, your career will get better while you're here. We have this incredible program called Leadership at Anderson. Again, we've been busy during COVID. We didn't have this before COVID. We have it now, and it's incredible. I'm going to show you about that. We have this strategic vision that I mentioned. The strategic planning committee has been hard at work, and we have a transformative leadership framework. I'll show you a slide on that. We have a student culture that I say you can't meet or beat anywhere. Some people are like, well, if it's part-time, is it going to be the same as if I was a full-time student? Our culture is incredible. It's just as good as the full-time, and it's for people with a job, right? So it's not as kind of everyday something. It's more like big tentpole events, but it's incredible. So I'll give you an example of that. Palooza, I'll show you an example when they had homecoming at the Rose Bowl. And then we have drive time. That was totally self-serving because it's my little podcast. All right. Okay, so #1 since 96, #5 nationwide, U.S. News, Fortune. That's a great accolade, right? We are a known brand, known in Southern California. Here's more on our certified executive coaches. We have a full career services department that focuses just on you, okay? And back to the beginning. Do you need coaching on enhancing, coaching on switching, coaching on exploring, starting a business, family business? We'll help you with all of that. You can interview for internships. You can take advantage of our partnership with the Parker Career Management Center. You can interview for full-time jobs. You have one-on-one coaching throughout your MBA. We have executives in residence, executive job search training, the whole thing, right? What's the modern way to present yourself on LinkedIn? How do you have LinkedIn working for you 24/7? How do you do a modern career letter, a modern resume? How do you do a personal marketing plan that matches a industry marketing plan to give yourself these options? I want to explore a little bit, you said, right? Like we can guide you and help you set that up. Best salary increases. So our 2019 graduates, 4 months after graduation, our career services team tracks people down. What's your salary now? What was your salary then? Plus 49%. Okay, so look at your life right now. Anybody here going to have a 49% salary increase in the next 3 years? Like you know for sure that's going to happen, right? I'm not, right? You got to kind of shake up the snow globe, right? This is a time to shake up the snow globe, right? It's not guaranteed, but this was 75% of her class reporting, actually more for these. When that number came out in 2019, we got that number, and then the pandemic came, and we were like, I don't even know if that's a real number. So we didn't even talk about it a lot because we'd had a kind of a lighter weight survey, and we used to get like 23 to 34%, which we thought was pretty good, and this was so much higher. And then pandemic, and we did the same survey 4 months, so fall of 2020 during the pandemic. It was better for those grads. We did it again in 21, plus 62%. They don't have the number quite done for the 2022 graduates, but they're telling me it's in the same arena, okay? So you're not going to have the same job title. You're maybe not even going to have the same boss. You're going to shake things up, and we're going to help you get there with these executive coaches, with the Leadership at Anderson program, right? This is not a promise. Individual results will vary, but this is what 75% of the students reporting tell us happens to their career. And it happens because you're in class with these incredible faculty. You're sitting next to these classmates doing stuff you've never even heard of. Like, wow, could I work with you? Like that. So just sitting in your chair, okay, I'm making X number of dollars right now. Multiply times 1.49, 1.55, 1.62, right? Like that could be my future. Wow, okay, right? It's 2023 right now. This is about 1,000 days of investment in yourself, and you're going to get, I always observe, like the promotion that you were going to get anyway, FEMBA just has it happen sooner. Because you know how you felt when you said, I'm getting my MBA at UCLA a few minutes ago? Like, you start being that in the world. And people are like, oh, you're going back to grad school. Oh, wow, right? It's a signal. It's a signal to yourself when you look in the mirror in the morning. Hey, guy, you're on the court now. You're borrowing all that money. This is really real, right? Like I was a history major from Texas A&M. I was sitting around on my dad's ranch kind of twiddling my thumbs. I did not know how to start a life. You know, at that thing, you're like big person on campus, and then you're like a serf at Starbucks, right? Nobody told me how to manage that. And so I went to grad school to like get my life going. This will get your life going, okay? So that money that it takes to come here makes it really real. And you're surrounded by people who have full-time jobs, husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends. They've got full lives. It's a very dedicated student body that you're a part of. If you want to take a picture of this, this is what it looks like by industry. You can see where the average mean base salaries are. So you can see where people are ending when they get done. 153, 145, 150, 125. So this is the 2021. This is the plus 62%. So for that class, when they walked in the door, the average salary was about $90,000. And 75% reporting 3 years and 4 months later, after doing the program, not even becoming an alum yet, was plus 62%. Okay, so leadership at Anderson. All right, I gotta move. This is a flagship program that has been developed during COVID for all our MBA programs. FEMBA Executive Full-Time, monthly executive coaching, that's the heart of it. That you're having monthly pulses where you talk about who you are now and who you want to be, and you map out a plan to go practice different professional executive competencies that you want to engender to your professional comportment. The coaching helps align what I'm learning in class and what I want to see in my career. How do I get that all aligned so that I get the most bang for my buck? And it's coaching for the entire MBA. We don't know of another program that offers this. We haven't done an exact survey, but we're unaware of anybody who's offering something as broad and deep as this. And our students who are in it, you don't have to be in it. It's an opt-in. As long as you continue to participate, you can stay in it. They love it because it makes a difference. And then this is the flywheel. This is the capabilities of a transformative leader. This is the work that the Strategic Planning Committee has been doing. On the left side, we want our graduates to be able to solve complex business problems in a transforming industry landscape. So that's strong industry acumen, tech savvy, analytically adept. The way the dean talks about it, we've always been good at the left side. Where we've taken incredible ground in the last decade is on the right side, which is, can I catalyze action by organizations, teams, and individuals? Our organizational behavior faculty, the psychology of business, the psychology of working with modern people in a modern workplace. Can I be innovative? Am I emotionally intelligent? Can I generate drive and purpose? You know, there are executives you want to listen to, and there are executives that you ignore. What's the difference? Right? What is it that has some executives, gosh, when she talks, everybody just lights up, and we all want to get on board, and she has that energy that she brings. Leadership begins with leading yourself. How do you develop that in yourself so that people around want to get on your parade, play games with you. All right, this is getting in the weeds, but we're taking our institutional connections, #1 public university in the U.S., a #3 medical school, an incredibly strong, the Samueli School of Engineering, our career services with Parker. We're taking our institutional linkages, we're adding that with our student culture. We have this collaborative culture, that's the blue in the bottom left, our entrepreneurship, our commitment to a broad public mission. We're adding our domain knowledge, that's the top right, the faculty expertise in the 9 areas of expertise that we excel in. And the orange here is our location, California, Southern California, UCLA. We're putting all that together such that our unique set of assets and capabilities leads to the prior slide, which is people who can dance in both worlds, right? Data and decisions and organizational behavior. I can manage things and I can manage people. And somebody who can manage both is incredibly rare and super valuable. Okay, so this is a big investment, time and money and effort. That's the input. And the output is you get an education that's world-renowned. You get an experience that we say no other school can match. And you get a network of classmates and faculty from around the world. That's the output. So here's a couple of the student culture examples. We have this thing called Palooza. We had about 1,200 people this year. The one before, we took a 2-year pause for COVID, but it's a midsummer event. It's run by that powerful woman right there. She's my boss. That's Cynthia Somerville. She and I ran it last summer along with Chris and Raymond. And it's current students, it's new admits, so you guys would all be there. Bring your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. It's alumni, it's full-time, it's executive. We take over the entire lawn between Royce Hall and Powell Library, and it's a Saturday fun in the sun with like a club fair and an entrepreneur zone. So it's intergenerational networking. No other school has a Palooza. This is our student-led homecoming. We'd never done this before. About 200 people. They're not even all in the picture before one of the football games out at the Rose Bowl this year. So this culture is just as fun as the full-time culture, but it's not like every single evening because people have jobs and complicated lives, but we do these big tentpole events. And a whole lot of it's going to be digital, right? You're going to get your text thread. You're going to get your, all your Google Hangouts and all your Zoom meetings, right? Because it's designed that you can keep your full life and go to school. The podcast, they're on YouTube, they're on our website. I just love them. These are the alumni interviews I did. There's Derek in the middle. That was the professional football player. Where's the pointer? There's Derek. Maxine was a professional dancer. She danced with CeeLo, is that his name? I don't know, young stuff. But that guy, she danced with him for 2 years in Vegas. She studied dance at Northwestern, made her living as a professional dancer for a decade, and then reinvented herself, and now she's a senior consultant at Deloitte, right? She's got a cool story. Ben Rovner reinvented his career. He went from being an actor to being at Boston Consulting. Arun is an enhancer. Arun runs finances for LACMA. He's a LACMA for life. He's got a great story. He also does a real specialized type of Indian dance. Megan here, she was our student body president. James is from the East Coast. His parents were, blue-collar immigrants from China. He's an incredible first-generation success story. So all of these are available to listen to. For those of you who are double Bruins, these are all double Bruins stories that are fun. Stephen Johnson he's just a really neat guy, father of 4 while he did the program, and has created a minority investment fund. Ashley Merrill here, she launched her family, had 2 children during the program, and launched Lunya, which is this really cool women's, it's like super expensive women's active sleepwear. She created that. Don't know how to describe it. The website's really interesting. She created that while she was here. Steve Yu, his parents, first generation from Korea, moved to the Central Valley, spoke no English, and became cherry farmers. And still, his father's in his 80s and still works 5 hours a day on the cherry farm. He started as a student clerk in the law school. He's now the CFO of the law school. Tharong was our student body president a couple years ago at Double Bruin. Kate Greenberg here, her story is really incredible. She and her husband met as comm majors in undergrad. He put her through FEMBA. She put him through law school, and then they've moved all around the world. She's the chief financial officer for the Washington Nationals, the baseball team. Just really cool stories and all part of your network. So why should you make a big investment in you? You're already successful. So this is it. You're here Saturday morning, right? I mean, we got Lunar New Year. We got playoff football. Like, I respect your time and attention that you're giving me very generously, right? There are other things you could do. You are not a normal subsection of society. You're educated. You're already plugged in. You're kicking the tires on a Saturday morning. So even if you never come to UCLA, you're going to do fine. You know, statistically, we could do a little longitudinal survey. Everybody in this room is going to do fine. Okay? So you don't have to do UCLA. So here's my high-tech graphic. You ready? So this is you without UCLA. And this is by decades, right? So 10, 20, 30 years, right? So there's ups and downs, right? You know, she leaves me, and I find another one, and then she keeps me, right? But it's a general upward trend line. General upward trend line, right? And this is the game right here. Okay, look, it went quick. This is Spider-Man graphics. This is really high tech. No UCLA, yes UCLA, right? That's all we're doing. You get this education, it changes your brain. You get this network, it changes your heart. You get this confidence, you do this experience, it changes your gut, right? Your head, your heart, your gut. You get those things aligned for what you could do in life, and that's a different version of you, right? And that's worth 6 figures. That's a big investment. If you need a 10% raise, you don't need to be here. Just be nice to the boss, learn their birthday, husband and wife's name, kids' names, go play golf. There's easy ways to get a 10% raise. 49%, 55%, 62%. Now you're making a long-term investment, okay? Trajectory beats position. At any given time, we're having an up day or a bad day. We're having a great quarter or a tough quarter. Even a year, you know, this was a great year. Oh, this was a tough year. So position is always temporary, but trajectory, right? If I'm aiming here and I can aim just a little bit better over time, that makes a huge difference. We will help you aim higher. There's things that you want to aim at that you don't even know that you want to aim at yet. We'll introduce you to those. There are those things that I think I could, but I'm not sure when. The entrepreneur timeline, right? At some point, entrepreneurs all just say, gotta go. We can help you get to that gotta go moment, okay? So trajectory beats position. It's not just about this year or even this decade. We're all gonna live to be 111, right? If you don't smoke or drink or drive fast on curvy roads, if you live within your capability set and you're educated and you have access to healthcare, you're in a first world country, we're gonna live to be 111. It's bizarre, you know, 80's the new 60. Look, I mean, our president, like, say what you will, right? It's happening. It's not theoretical, right? People live longer. They maintain their cognitive ability. They can replace their knees, their hips, their elbows, their hearts, okay? So this is a long-term investment, right? And when your career goes up and the people that you are, you know, what's that old thing? You want to know your salary, average salary of your 5 best friends? Right? You ever heard that? Well, you're going to put 5 new best friends in your network with bigger salaries, bigger human capital, bigger aspirations. You don't lose your old friends. You just upgrade your entire life set, and that's a good thing. Okay, so this is 1,000 days to reinvent yourself. If you consider this day one, that was that day, it was January, I gave up, you know, whatever I was going to do on Saturday morning. I went up there and you know what? I applied. And then I went, and here we are in 26, and I got the degree. That's 1,000 days to reinvent yourself. Get yourself 1% better every day for 1,000 days, you're 100% better. And that doesn't include compounding, right? This is simple math, all you math majors. That's not accurate. It's close enough for the poetic license metaphor. Okay, we're in the future business. Your future is our business. How are we doing? All right, we got some students. Bring them down. We've been promising this panel. Let's talk about your future. Where are you going to be a decade from now? Yeah, this is good. We'll show this video while our panel comes on. So this is a video that was made about 10 years ago. And I'm going to tell you where all these folks are now. And you guys just come on up and grab a seat. Okay, good. Yeah, I didn't know where the big one was. So this is a 1-minute video. And then everybody in this video was a current student at the time, most of them in FEMBA, one was in MBA. And I'm going to show you this video. You're going to laugh. You're going to smile. It's going to be up for an Oscar. And then we're going to tell you where they are now, and then we're going to move over to our panel.
Cats climb trees just to be rescued by him. Goals orient towards him. He once donated blood to save the life of the party.
Это не сработает, я не понимаю, о чем ты говоришь.
이것은 거래가 안 되겠네요.
We need to have a better plan. 可以。И твой босс тоже не понимает, что он делает. 一定不对的。
He's the language of business.
Deal.
He is the most interesting MBA in the world.
Never considered an MBA, but when I did, I preferred UCLA Anderson. Stay educated, my friends.
Testing.
All right, give it up for them in absentia.
hello.
Yay.
Hello. Test.
As I'm in the midst of applying for residency right now.
Stop it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so a
Testing.
little bit about that. So we used to run a fun thing. It was a student competition where if you had 1 minute to make a Super Bowl commercial about UCLA, what would you make? And so this was made polished by diamonds, Anastasia, Melissa. So this was the team. The metaphor of diamonds, polished diamonds, is there's something that's special to you that really makes you sparkle. And if you tell us what that is in your application essay, and we admit you because of that, and all of your classmates, they have their own sparkle, that light is part of the energy that makes this whole thing worth it, right? So they took that metaphor and they called themselves Polished by Diamonds Productions. So Melissa is now a business manager at Dole. Again, these were 2014 graduates, so 9 years after graduation. Sagar is a director of innovative therapy development at Abbott. He's also a part-time bouncer. Yeah, there's Sagar. Ksenia Udina is a mom. She was one of like 40 under 40, like top 40 business leaders under the age of 40. She created a women's investment fund called UNEST. Jennifer is now a senior director at Iovance Biotherapy. Diana in the back, she was actually an executive MBA. She's a managing partner and founder for Empower House Fitness. It's a women's fitness group. Bryce Schirmbera is an assistant vice president at Wilshire Associates. Linda is a senior manager, product management, American Express. The point of this is like, do these titles sound good? Would I like these kind of titles sooner than a decade after I graduate? Could happen for all these folks. Kwa is the guitar player, senior director of product management at Salesforce. Rose is a global tech partner at Google. Ryan, the most interesting MBA, Ryan Guterson is a director, HR business partner at PayPal. And Dania Shaheen Guterson, notice her last name, seems very similar to the man to her left, or her right, is a data venture development professional at Bain & Company. And Ryan and Dania are a FEMBA love story, right? I know, it happens, yeah. It's a good thing, right? The old adage, if you want to catch a fish, you should go where the fish are, right?
So FEMBA is really the fish everywhere MBA. Yes.
Fish everywhere. She's like losing it. All right, I love it. Deep down, I want to be a stand-up comedian, but I don't get paid for that. Let me make this very serious point. You walked from the parking garage over here. It took you like 4 minutes. If you come out and go 4 minutes the other direction, you go to the John Wooden Workout Center. You can join that for, it's like, I don't know how much it is, 30 bucks a month or something. It's way cheaper than Equinox. And this is UCLA. Whatever flavor you want, tall, not tall, like whatever identity you want, whatever makes you happy, is here. From around the world, this is a magnet for incredible human beings. Now, okay, a third of FEMBAs are married, so this is not for you. It's not for you. You guys just double down and love your husband or wife, committed partner. But for the 2/3 of you who are single, if you want to catch a fish, go where the fish are. So you can join that gym way cheaper than Equinox. All the medical students are in there in their scrubs. I'm so busy, just came from medical school. I'm just from medical school, right? medical school, right? The lawyers are in there with their briefcase. So you just put on your Anderson swag. You just, don't always wear the headphones. Be social. And it happens. FEMBAs fall in love all the time. Not all the time, but it happens, right? Now, some people are locked in, just education, fine. But it's available is the point. Okay, so they got married. And the person you didn't see, the person you did not see because she was the producer and the director in the background is Anastasia Ali, who is now a vice president of Disney. And this is what I love looking up. I love looking up people 10 years after FEMBA. This is her, what you'll see if you go look up Anastasia Ali on LinkedIn. Before FEMBA, she was an entrepreneur. She had her own little boutique entertainment group. Then during FEMBA, she did an internship at Disney. She was a marketing associate. She graduated in 2014. She got hired. She quit being an entrepreneur. She got hired by Disney. 2 years, she was an associate development program there, so an MBA rotation. Then she left that from 17 to 19. She was a senior manager, marketing strategy. 19 to 20, she became a director of marketing. 21, she became a vice president of marketing. And 22, just last year, she got a second vice president role. She's now the enterprise commercial inclusion strategy vice president. Right? So you see, every single title of all those people, good stuff happened. Okay? So that's enough out of me. Classmates at these companies, we're going through some slides. 3 pillars. You're going to think fearlessly, share success, drive change. Your head, your heart, your gut. All your chakras, you're going to share success. Da, 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 da. Think fearlessly, you're going to make more money. You're going to drive change. You're going to have confidence you didn't have beforehand. You're going to hire each other. This is a cool one. This guy created a $100 million company while he was in FEMBA. That's a neat podcast. Every time they open up a new city, they hired 2 MBAs, director of marketing, director of operations. Hogwarts meets the United Nations, all these flags. You can couch surf around the world for the rest of your life because you got connections from all these different things. 25 birth countries in last year's class. People from the military. Check out all the people in the military that are entering class. Oh, they're awesome. Thank you for your service. Moving forward, 11 PhDs. This is really smart classmates. All these people have PhDs in the program. Like I'm sitting next to somebody with a PhD. That's really cool. Wow. Okay, is there a doctor in the dentist? Yes, we have doctors. We have dentists. Isn't that neat? Wow. Gosh, human capital. How do I get admitted? Round 3 deadline. Order your transcripts. Take the entrance exam. We'll take GMAT, GRE, executive assessment. We don't care. Ask your recommenders, 2 people who love you. We'll take 15 minutes out of their life to say how great you are. Ask them in person. Give them a copy of your resume. Make sure you say thank you. Personal statements. Tell us about yourself. Who have I been before? Where do I want to go? 2 statements. Write it yourself. Do not use AI. That's just cheating. Resume. Give us a personal resume. Less than 10 years of work, 1 page. More than 10 years of work, 2 pages. If you're a scientist, we don't need your 10-page CV. Apply. There's the website at the top. Sign up to interview. Interviews are happening right now for round 2. Get admitted. 7 steps, easy to do. April 4th is the deadline. We'll probably stay open a little bit later, but apply by April 4th, and you'll have a decision no later than June 16. We have UC Connect. For those of you who have a UC degree of any flavor, UC, Berkeley, us, Irvine, if you meet certain GPA thresholds, you can get a waiver for the GMAT. That's a new program we launched last year. It's popular. Take advantage of it. And now, the real UCLA experience, our student panel.
Let's give
Alex,
it up for
Clay,
Dylan.
and Elias.
Give it up for Dylan, everybody. Woo. I'm going to try to get this mic to work. I think I got to do something up there, but it will work in a second.
Test, no.
I just wanted to shout out Dylan. He was really trying to talk for 3 hours. He got it down to 1 hour. But why don't you guys get up, take a quick little stretch break, because I know how it is to be in the crowd. I'm going to go try to make sure this mic works, and then we'll hear from our students, all right? Get up and take a quick little stretch break in your chair. Stand up, do some stretching. Don't leave the room.
Meet a neighbor, shake hands, meet a neighbor. Thanks. Good. Thanks for being here.
Good job, Dylan.
Thanks.
Way to speed through that last part. As always, really.
Yeah,
There's a lot to go through.
know your timeline or not.
Fix the title.
Chris, we can just use this microphone too if we want to. We don't.
Exactly, yes. Test, hello, hi. Levels, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, sorry for all. I know we load you up with coffee and then we make you sit. Okay, we're gonna keep going. I know people will come back in. All right, so you guys want to just take it and I'll just hush and you can introduce yourselves and think about some of your prepared remarks and then we'll do Q&A and thank you for being here.
Hey everyone, my name is Claymore, middle guy. Yes, that is my actual name. I know that it's also an explosive device and it's a Scottish broadsword and everything, but yes, my parents did intentionally name me that. I'm originally from Seattle, Washington, but for the past 10 years, I've been in Dallas, Texas. I did school. I did a graduate degree in statistics. So big nerd energy over here. Currently work at Meta as a business program manager, specifically with metrics and analytics. And so when you look at Meta in our earnings calls and you're like, hey, there's some user statistics number, I'm a part of the team that makes sure that those are very financially stable numbers as well as actual numbers instead of like past Meta where you'd be like, hey, those weren't real. They're real now, I swear. Do we want to go into FEMBA journey or just introductions?
Yeah, do a couple top headlines. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to, so I was in Dallas. I actually moved out to Los Angeles for the program because I wanted to explore what are job opportunities outside of statistics, specifically in entertainment. And, you know, Los Angeles is a great place for that, specifically in the cross of technology and entertainment. For me, the FEMBA program has been amazing. I'm a 2025, so I just finished my first quarter here. It's been an amazing experience being able to not only learn in the classroom, but then have a short feedback loop into actually taking that into my day-to-day job. Yeah, it's been an amazing experience. I can't wait for the next 2 years.
And I guess we started with kind of enhancer, switcher, explorer. Did you consider yourself an enhancer walking in the door?
Fully exploring.
Okay.
Fully exploring because I was like, hey, I've done what I've done for like the better part of 10 years. I want to look at what else is out there. So exploring.
Okay, and then just anything like when I was in your shoes, the thing that I was worried about that actually turned out not to be a thing or anything like that, just, you know, kind of application journey perspective?
Yeah, I think the time commitment, not only professionally, but also personally, was a big thing for me. Just making sure that I had the time available for classes as well as studying. Classes is a large part of the FEMBA opportunity, but it's also about networking on a personal level with your classmates because they are going to become the board of trustees for your life moving forward. I felt that was going to be a huge press for time, and I've been able to actually balance it pretty well, I think. So yeah.
Thanks.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alex, and I've had a bit of a windy journey career-wise. I started out in the military, did Air Force for about 7 years. I didn't really know anything about the military, and so I said, like, make it businessy, and I was also a linguist, so...
Businessy, that's a word.
They didn't know. My cadre didn't know. But anyway, so I did that for 7 years. As a Chinese linguist, worked at the Defense Language Institute for a while, and then wanted to get out of the military, and didn't really know what, but I figured I was like decently suited for like some type of vague leadership thing. So I moved into tech consulting, moved out to DC for a while, and then wanted to come over to California. So found a job with Fender guitars. But it was around that same time that I was already targeting UCLA, specifically the FEMBA program, because I wanted to pivot and switch into entertainment, which is a little bit of the theme of this panel, which is, unfortunately, we couldn't get a large demographic swath of volunteers for this panel, so we're all white males.
I already apologize.
Who like entertainment. But anyway, so I came out here, and originally, so I knew I wanted to do entertainment because it was specifically like the beginning of the pandemic, and I was like, what am I doing with my life? And what is any of this? And I really enjoy storytelling, and I find it like a really ennobling profession, and the idea of like being a part of that creative process felt very, like it could be very rewarding. So I was like, where's the best place for entertainment? Well, it's gonna probably be UCLA. And I looked at the program and evaluating some of the other programs here in the city. What really stuck out to me with the part-time program is how fully integrated we are with the full-time opportunities, with the supports and the OCR, the on-campus recruiting and other things like that. And so it just felt like it was a real no-brainer. So this was my top choice, and I was proactive, even got in on round one, and I was like, let's just knock this out. And so here we are. And then I was originally also hybrid at first, so I can speak to that a little bit. I was in the Bay Area at the time, and so I'd commute down once a month at least for our classes and do a big old weekend extravaganza. However, after, because I'm about a year and a half into the program, I knew that I wanted to be local for the electives and have the opportunity to start building my network here in the city. And so I moved down partway through, so I can speak to a little bit about both of that. Yeah, I'm just excited to be here and answer any of your questions.
Thanks, Alex.
Do I get a tap? Okay.
Well, I guess, Dylan, I can add some diversity. I'm half Salvadoran, so there we go. That
all right.
Go. My mom's from El Salvador, so I see the flag there. I'm very, very happy. But hey, everybody, my name is Elias Warren. I am a Pennsylvania native, born and raised in Amish Town, Pennsylvania. No, Dylan, I'm not Amish. But if you know anything about middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, it's the furthest place away from anything entertainment minus Siberia. So, but I was always growing up, I was always moved by the power of story and storytelling. And just like so many before me, I partook in the great American tradition of moving out west to pursue a dream in Hollywood. So, had no idea growing up that I could ever sort of work at a movie studio. That was never in the cards for me. But I saw a job description online, and I'm like, that sounds cool. It was for a global brand manager for the Harry Potter franchise, and I'm like, yeah, I can't believe that's a job. So I'll do that for free. Don't tell my employer I said that. But yeah, so I came out, didn't know a single soul in LA, and a year to the day that I moved out, I got a call from WB saying, hey, let's bring you in for an informational interview. And it was for an assistant role on the franchise team. So I'm really blessed to be able to be a part of that sort of great tradition in storytelling, and really driven by two things. The first being sort of being a part of the stories that really matter, not only to fans, but also to me personally, and also empowering the world's greatest storytellers. And with that vision in mind, during, especially sort of right before and during the pandemic, really had a bit of a come to Jesus moment. I'm like, wow, like I'm given this incredible gift, and what else can I do with it? And for me, it was, well, Elias has always shot for the stars and keep on doing that. So for me, the goal is to become an entertainment CEO, sort of lead a modern media company. And when I looked at the swath of CEOs out there, apart from being uncommonly brilliant, they all had MBAs in common. So that is what brought me to engage in sort of the UCLA process. And for me, UCLA was a no-brainer because it really is that nexus of business, tech, and entertainment. So I was really moved by it. I was moved by the culture here, moved by the idea that sort of we all support each other, and that's absolutely been my experience going through UCLA. And so with that in mind, you know, I'm a senior manager of strategy and content for the Harry Potter franchise, the wider sort of Wizarding World universe of stories. No, I cannot disclose anything more about my job, but but yeah, it's been a really great ride, and absolutely can attest to the power that sort of this program and sort of UCLA as a whole, as a pedigree, can do to help open doors down the road.
Awesome, awesome. Yes. All right, so we're not going to be able to answer all questions. They have some thoughts they've also kind of prepared, so I think we'll kind of do like a 1-2. We'll take questions, and the kind of questions that fit right now, because we can stay and answer individually afterwards. So if there's a military connection or Harry Potter connection, well, that'll be everybody. But you could ask one-on-one. But the kind of questions now we'd love is questions that you think probably are pretty, that a lot of other people might want. And then you guys we'll have one person answer each question. So answer the question that gets asked, and then also maybe throw out one of the things that you wanted to make sure that you shared with the audience. So we'll do that and see. And we'll again at 11, we'll pause here officially. Those of you who'd like to go on the tour with the Associate Dean, Gonzalo Freixas, can go to the back. Or if you want to ask questions of myself or the panel, we'll stay and answer afterwards. So we'll just try to cover as much ground as we can with their real estate of their time. Okay, who has a question? Yes.
No kids. But I'm in the FEMBA program, so I did the all-day Saturdays, which I cannot recommend highly enough. No offense to any of the Tuesday, Thursdays over here. But I will say the thing about the Saturday core is that, you are committed, sort of speaking to that time commitment, you're all committed to spending your Saturday together. So literally from 8:30 in the morning until 8:30 or more at night, you're together. And that bond that you're able to form with your classmates and your colleagues is key. They've become some of my best friends, and I'm not just being facetious. I'm being real about that. And so, I think I don't know if sort of Dylan spoke about balance yet. I know you've spoken about balance a bit, Clay. That's a funny word about sort of speaking about time commitment. I think there's no one way to do it, and each week looks different. So, some weeks I'm more busy at work and I had to sort of dial back in school. Other weeks I'm, more busy with school and I dial back at work. But net, it is sort of, there is a balance, and you figure it out. I'm a big believer in brands, and I'm a big believer in Nike, and you just do it. you know? So it's what you do.
Any observations of your classmates who have children that maybe, you know, even just
God bless them. I mean, really, it's really.
Yes, our hats are off.
Hats are off.
Here's my 10-year-old is here too.
Yeah,
This is...
yeah, it's. Although he's wearing a Cowboys sweater. I don't know.
We're from
I
the
like about
South.
that.
We're from the South.
I know. I mean, go Eagles. But you know, what can I say? I'm not a traditional Phillies fan, but I'm polite. But don't tell them I said that. But yeah, it's observations for those that have had kids. I mean, you know, yes, it's a lot of work, but I will say that they, especially the ones that sort of come in on Saturdays, I mean, they are on. Like, I've been so impressed. And they make it work. And you know, sometimes, you know, when we're on Zoom calls, yeah, like a kid comes up and they're part of the process and the professors engage with them. And it's really, you know, UCLA is a family, and sort of for a family's family is also part of that wider family. So it's, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that sort of, it can sort of be a balance, but it's all worth it, and people make it work with a smile on their face.
Mm-hmm. And then a plus one, like one of the things that you were thinking that you really wanted to share to the audience, even if it's not part of that question and answer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, so I will say that just trust the process and really just enjoy your time being here. I know, Dylan, you've also mentioned this many, many times throughout not only the sort of the process leading into it, but also during Leadership Foundations, which is like a week course that sort of you're all stuck together here. We all take off work and we're just committed again to each other. And I will say it's scary when you first join, because obviously, especially if you join the FEMBA program, the fully employed program, you know, you have a full-time job. Like, it's the amount of people that come up to me and say, I don't know how you do it. Like, how do you do it? I'm like, I don't know. I just do it. But you just trust it and go with your gut and know that you grow so much along that journey. And so one of the questions that they've asked us to prepare is sort of what's been our favorite FEMBA moment thus far. Apart from finding out that I didn't fail stats, which was a highlight. I will say that the thank you, Tiffany. You know, the best moment hasn't happened yet. You know, I'm a big believer in the best moments are always the ones to come. So ask me tomorrow what my best moment is, and I'll tell you the same thing.
This guy, storytelling. I want to sign me up. I want Elias's workshop. Okay, that's awesome. All right. Yes, question.
I'll probably take that since I'm actually doing electives. So first off, core classes are great because, and this is one of the things I wanted to mention about how has the FEMBA affected my career so far, because that's one of the perks of us being in a part-time program is that we get to immediately, that feedback loop of applying the learnings into our day-to-day, we get to really see that right off the bat. And so the core classes, even if it's things that you're maybe not that interested in, like I'm not interested in finance or accounting, but it gives you this 30,000-foot view of how businesses operate. And a lot of times early in our career, you know, we're relegated to very specific subject matter expert roles and kind of narrow, and you get good depth there, but you don't have necessarily the breadth or context. And so it does give you a vocabulary to understand larger business frameworks, and that has already paid dividends in my career as well. So I really like that. That being said, I was very excited to get into the electives, and so far, I've really enjoyed it. So I'm going for an entertainment specialization. You can do more than one specialization as well. Like the curriculum or the credit count for each is not that burdensome. But I just dove right into the meat and potatoes of that right off the bat. And so right now we're doing entertainment business structures, which is like one of the marquee classes for that specialization. And we're having guest speakers. Like this last week, we had Sherry Lansing, the former CEO of Paramount Pictures in the 90s, who was behind, you know, Titanic, Braveheart, Saving Private Ryan, all these, you know, just get to speak for an hour and a half while we're also talking about the film development pipelines and you know, asking questions. And the teacher is Harry Sloan, who's a former CEO of MGM. And so like all these really cool people, and I'm finally getting into some of the business weeds that I've been looking forward to, because I don't have the experience right now that, you know, Elias has had so far. So it's like, I want to start to get my technical chops up. So as I then move into looking for like the job search in that industry that I feel like I have the foundational information. So I've really been enjoying the electives. I will say, one of the reasons that I relocated here was to be able to have the flexibility to attend the electives that I needed to for my specializations. One of the caveats that you have for hybrid, because that's what I was for my first year, is that you're a little bit more limited in what's available if you're still remote. And so this is a trade-off. It's just the nature of scheduling and professors and class loads and everything. So just keep that in mind, but there are ways to make it work. There are folks who are doing like a house swap. There's one classmate I have who lives in New York, but she rented out her apartment for 3 months to come here for 3 months to specifically take a couple of these electives right now. And so like there are the ways that you can kind of balance that, competing priorities and what your availability is, but I've really, really enjoyed it and I'm looking forward to the rest of them.
And sometimes people don't realize no matter what schedule you do for the first half, you can do any schedule for electives. So, you can do Saturday for the core, and then you can only take evening electives, or any combination thereof.
Yeah, I was doing hybrid Saturday, Sunday, coming in once a month. Then I switched to every Saturday, and now I'm doing Monday and Tuesday nights from 4 to 7, which has been a big change for me because it's like suddenly I have to commute a lot. I work from remote all the time, so I'm like, oh yeah, traffic, it's a thing, huh? But as I'm sure everyone else knows, but yeah.
And did you weave in you kind of did, but one of the things you wanted to make sure you shared?
Yeah, like applying those learnings. I guess I'll give an example. It's just like in my job, which I need to update this title because it's not quite right, because it's doing digital product for Fender guitars, and we have a guitar learning app. And so I've been focusing on the development of that very specifically, with just in, like customer experience and what are our individual metrics. But we've started to take like a larger strategic look at the product within our brand. And that's something that we're kind of like considering right now. And I actually felt very passionately about a few of the things strategically that we wanted to do, created a deck and kind of floated it up, and eventually had like a one-on-one with my CMO about it. And a lot of it was incorporating the stuff that I had learned from my strategy class and my marketing class, and understanding like from my finance class, the CapEx that we went into this product, how are we going to monetize it over, the long term, and what are we extracting value? Is this part of the marketing funnel? What are we trying to accomplish with it? And like, these are all things that like, I wasn't that proficient at 2 years ago, and I felt like I could speak very comfortably to it to my senior leadership. And so that was fun.
Thanks, Alex. All right. Yeah.
As someone that does suffer from major FOMO, I feel as a subject matter expertise of being able to answer this. For me, for the FEMBA program, it was never a question to do the full-time program, just because I was like, I want to keep getting paid like while I do this journey. But I always kind of thought like, being in your shoes and listening to Dylan and all the other kind of associate deans or deans kind of talking about like, oh, it's like the same experience. I was like, oh, that's probably what they say to like get people admitted to the school and stuff. No, it is actually like that, is that I feel like I am a full-time student, other than the fact that I don't go to classes like during the day. Like, I'm a part of multiple organizations, multiple clubs. I'm a part of student government here for the FEMBA Council. And I do feel like I'm able to network properly within my own time with full-time students, with executive MBA students, as well as graduate students in the film school. Or we're having a mixer sometime next month with people from the medical school. And it's a really cool experience that even though I'm doing this part-time, I am able to have the agency and opportunity to network with people that are in the full-time program. And through that, I feel like not just taking classes, but having that experience is also very beneficial to the investment that I'm making in myself in this program. Yeah.
And then Clay, you're, like kind of just a thought you wanted to make sure you left the audience with.
Yeah, I think the FEMBA program is a lot about, on a surface level about professional opportunities, but for me, I really took it as a personal opportunity. I know coming into this program was like, hey, I want to try being vulnerable with my classmates and seeing how far that would get me and able to work on myself that would then lend to a professional format. You know, going into the FEMBA program, I never thought I'd do something like this, but I'm able to be vulnerable in the space with y'all, to be able to actually have this opportunity of putting myself in front of people that I really have not met before. Because for me, coming into the FEMBA program, I was like, I'm not good at networking. I don't understand it, but I get it, and it's something that I have to do. A great example of that is during the Foundations in Inclusive Leadership, that like 1 week course that you have before the program officially starts. I did one of those similar videos that you saw up here, and I organized with my section. I'm a Tuesday, Thursday person. With my section, I was like, hey, let's put the video together. We actually won the prize for it, which was a little keychain, and I keep that on my backpack because I think that's really cool. But just having all these opportunities to put yourself out there, don't just think about, you know, what can I do to better myself in my career path? What can you do to better yourself? And that's a huge thing about the FEMBA program that you're able to do.
Awesome. Well, I'm a big proponent of time management, so we've got 3 minutes. So let me plow through this. These guys aren't leaving, but what do we have here? Q&A, okay, we've kind of done that. Okay, April 4th, that's our last deadline, so there's plenty of time to earn a seat this year. If you apply by April 4th, the interview day is April 15th, so what's happening right now is people from round 2 are having it's 30-minute interview with the current or alumni student. This year we're doing them all remote, so you actually don't come to campus. And then you'll get a decision no later than June 16th. Okay, so there's plenty of time this year. We possibly will leave the application open until the end of May. That's usually what we do, but we don't tell people that because people need deadlines. But because you're here, I'm going to tell you that because you're here. Okay, so just know that. So there's plenty of time. GMAT, GRE, executive assessment. We take any of the 3 exams. People have opinions about which one is better for them. Don't kill yourself. You know, just take an exam. Executive assessment is if you've been working 8 years or more, GMAT or GRE. Most people take the GMAT, 75%, 24% take the GRE, and then 1% take the executive assessment. But all 3 are totally valid. Look up the podcast if you'd like to hear some more stories. These guys are all fascinating. I do have a couple of parent interviews also. Ben had just become a dad like 5 days before the interview, and his wife was a PhD in architecture here, so it's a cool UCLA starting family story. Ashley started her family. She talks about being a mom. Kate was a mom. She talks about being a mom. Stephen has 4 kids. So all these podcasts, they kind of talk about the work-life balance, but we're all basically hats off to them because it's amazing. So thanks everyone for attending today. You guys have a lovely parting gift under your chair. We'll kind of just stay up here or walk down and answer questions one-on-one. If you'd like to go on the tour, just outside these doors, just in the little lobby there, just kind of gather out there. There's a group of the round 1 admits, and they're going to be with Dean Frasius, and they're going to walk by and meet you right out here, and then it's about a 45-minute tour. Dean Frasius is hilarious, and he knows all these cool stuff. You'll go to the sculpture garden. He'll show you all kinds of neat, behind-the-scenes UCLA trivia. So we really appreciate your time and attention today. Lunar New Year, football weekend, all of that. So if you choose to marry your future to this opportunity, it's a marriage worth doing. I love Dean Oley, and our prior dean. She used to say, here's the difference between marriage and your MBA. And she said this from her own personal journey. You can get divorced, but UCLA will be on your resume forever, and that's a good thing. So anyway, we try to keep it light. This is a big investment, but it's a worthwhile investment, and I think I just would kind of double down. I know we were making a joke about stuff diversity that we can't control, but look at the diversity of life experience that you just saw here, right? Like, it'd be kind of cool to be in a study group with someone from Seattle who went to Texas for a decade, who works at Meta and is working on getting their analytics to be trustworthy, sitting next to a guy who was in the military and now he's at Fender. Fender, isn't that like Sammy Hagar? Wow, that's different. I never met somebody like that before. Sitting next to someone who has global ownership over the narrative of the already existing and the what's coming Harry Potter. Like, in Denison, Texas, where I grew up, I didn't hang out with people like that. So just to kind of make sure that you see that, because we really want you to, yeah, there's all this kind of diversity, but then there's just like, there's so many amazing things happening in LA. And if you want to be in the know, this is a way to really put yourself into conversations that are life-changing. And I think that was mentioned. So again, thank you for your attention. 11:01, I stole 1 minute of your life. I appreciate that, and thank you for being here today. Appreciate it. That was fun. That was fun.